Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Crystal. Last time we made our way up here to Mr. Pokemon's house, and we figured out that his discovery is this mystery egg right here, which we need to deliver back to Professor Elm. We also got a very troubling phone call from Professor Elm, which is definitely something to be concerned about. Anyway, you might notice it is light out again. I figured for episode 3, we would show off the last of the 3 times of day in the game, and probably the one you're going to be seeing the least just because it is very early in the morning by my standards. It is currently 8:14 in the morning, and I pretty much never record this early, but I figured it would be fun to show this off. The only real difference aesthetically between day and morning is during the morning, the whites in the overworld are slightly tinted yellow. There are also certain Pokemon that will only appear in the morning, which is not something that happens too terribly often, but it's definitely worth noting when they come up. Anyway, since it is a new day, I can grab another berry from this tree right here, which is really nice. Definitely worth making a note of where all of these are. Definitely really worth checking out because they can give you some really nice fruit when you go through like the game and stuff. So like if you have like a whole ton of areas in the game unlocked, you can just go from tree to tree to tree, get a big haul. It's really nice. Anyway, one thing that I didn't mention last time that I thought was pretty interesting, if I go in the mart, the town music is still playing. That's because in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, there actually isn't a dedicated shop theme that plays in the Pokemarts. There is one in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but there isn't one here. I'm assuming this is because of cartridge space limitations, which we will be getting into in a lot more detail very far down the line. Anyway, if you did wind up encountering a wild Pokemon on the way back from Mr. Pokemon's house, I was actually very lucky to not have that happen. If you did, I recommend healing. Once you have healed, feel free to head right back over to Professor Elm's lab. You got a Pokemon at the lab. What a waste, a wimp like you. Don't you get what I'm saying? Well, I too have a good Pokemon. I'll show you what I mean. I love this music, by the way. This is... question mark, question mark, question mark, as my young self thought his actual name was. This is what most would refer to as the rival character of the game. Every single Pokemon game has a character who will come at you with a Pokemon that is always super effective against your starter. And this is what we have here. This Chikorita is level 5 and it knows Tackle and Growl. If you chose Cyndaquil, you would instead have Totodile with Scratch and Leer as your opponent, also level 5. And if you chose Chikorita, you would have Cyndaquil level 5 with Tackle and Leer as its moves. One thing I'm going to try and do during this Let's Play is I'm going to try and give major fight opponent teams. So I would personally consider this kind of a boss fight. I mean, it has the special music and everything. So we are going to go over this team, and then any other time we get to like the end of an area and we have a big bad trainer in our way, I'm probably going to go over those teams as well, simply because it's good information to have. Anyway, there's really not much strategy to this fight. Looking back on it, I probably should have used Rage, because every time the tackle would hit me, it would get stronger. Anyway, right there, as you can see, once I dropped below half health, I automatically recovered using the berry, which is really nice. One thing worth noting, all of the starters from Elm's lab come to you equipped with a berry, but for whatever reason, this person's starter Pokemon does not have a berry, so maybe he de-equipped it for some reason. Anyway, it is extremely likely you're going to get a level up off of this fight regardless, so there we go, level 8. Huh. Are you happy you won? And we get a little bit of money for winning. Anytime you beat a Pokemon trainer, you're going to get money, so that's basically the introduction to that mechanic, even though it's a bit of an awkward situation for it.
My name's question mark, question mark, question mark. See, the game outright tells you. It's hilarious. I'm gonna be the world's greatest Pokemon trainer. He shoves us out of the way and he takes off. Now, in the remake, what happens is he storms off and then he realizes he drops his trainer card, and he walks up to you and he says that you picked it up, and he's like, oh no, you saw my name. Little weird way of doing it, but I guess in this game it's a little awkward as well. Anyway, normally I would go back and heal because I'm pretty sure we're not automatically healed after that. Oh wow, we are. Huh. Okay. But yeah, I'm just gonna walk right on back to the lab. That was a little bit awkward. Anyway, right here we have Sentret, which I'm pretty sure does not appear during the nighttime, which is interesting, so we could not have seen this Pokemon in the last episode. Really, really interesting right there. But yeah, I'm going out for the berry on this tree. Although, if you don't want the berry on the tree, you can actually get all the way back to New Barktown without going in the grass if you're so inclined to do that. So let's head right here, and we get another berry, so I think that brings our stash up to like 5. And you know what? Honestly, there's no reason not to do this. I'm going to take one of these berries and equip it back to Totodile. So now Totodile just has another berry to use. Really nice stuff. Anyway, if we head down this way, we can make use of these ledges. Hop down them, and you don't have to D-pad, and you don't have to go in the grass, which is really nice. We can sneak right around here, and here we are back in good old New Barktown. Quite a bit yellower than it was when we last saw it. That's the result of the morning. Anyway, as you can see, the mysterious red-haired boy is no longer standing here because we fought him back in Cherry Grove. Definitely really interesting. Anyhow, let's head right on inside. And what do you have to say? There was a loud noise outside. When we went to look, someone stole a Pokemon. It's unbelievable that anyone would do that. Oh, that stolen Pokemon. I wonder how it's doing. They say a Pokemon raised by a bad person turns bad itself. Dark times indeed. I heard a Pokemon was stolen here. I was just getting some information from Professor Elm. Apparently it was a young male with long red hair. What? You battled a trainer like that? Did you happen to get his name? When I was a kid, no joke, I just went meh, 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 and because that's what the game told me his name was. But no, we're not going to do that this time. Instead, I'm going to be giving him, I'm not going to say the canon name because this has never really been accepted as his canon name. It's just the name I've always used, and I feel like the name that most people use. Most people refer to this character as Silver, and I think that's a pretty awesome name regardless, so we are going to be using it. Okay, so Silver was his name. Thanks for helping my investigation. And off he goes. But we must remember, we do indeed have an errand to complete. David, this is terrible. Oh yes, what was Mr. Pokemon's big discovery? And we give him the mystery egg. This? But is it a Pokemon egg? If it is, it's a great discovery. What? Professor Oak gave you a Pokedex? David, is that true? That's incredible. He is superb at seeing the potential of people as trainers. Wow, David, you may have what it takes to become the champion. Whoa, we're jumping the gun a bit here. First you give a kid a Pokedex, and now you want him to become the champion? Sheesh. Although, I mean, to be fair, they don't just give anybody a Pokedex, so... You seem to be getting on great with Pokemon, too. You should take the Pokemon Gym Challenge. The closest gym would be the one in Violet City. David, the road to the championship will be a long one. Before you leave, make sure that you talk to your mom. Alright, we'll talk to our mom, but first off, I think I want to heal off that one wild encounter I was in. And there we go. And right here, David, use these on your Pokedex quest. And we get, I want to say, 5 Pokeballs. To add to your Pokedex, you have to catch Pokemon. Throw Pokeballs at wild Pokemon to get them. And we put the Pokeballs in the ball pocket. Very good. So, in this game, and I believe the 2 generations after it, there is a dedicated
bag space for Pokeballs. I have no idea why they took this out in later games. It's so useful. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like the items bag in later games could be easily split into like 4 separate pockets if they wanted to, and I really wish they would, because it would make things a lot easier. Anyway, let's go back and see our mom, and look at this, she actually moves around and does various different things in the house. She doesn't just sit at the table all day. Sometimes she goes over here and like is cooking stuff in the kitchen. Kind of neat little detail. Wow, that's a cute Pokemon. Where'd you get it? So, you're leaving on an adventure. Okay, I'll help too. But what can I do for you? I know, I'll save money for you. On a long journey, money's important. Do you want me to save your money? If you say yes, she will save a little bit of your money after every fight. I don't remember off the top of my head if it's a half or a quarter. I'm pretty sure in the remake it's a quarter. Okay, I'll take care of your money. Be careful. Pokemon are your friends. You need to work as a team. Now go on. Now you are of course allowed to say no to that request of saving money, and you're allowed to change it any time. One thing worth noting is I believe in this game 3 specific times throughout your adventure, your mom will actually buy stuff with your money. Nothing too expensive, and you have to reach certain stored money thresholds for it to go off. In the remake, she will buy you random berries and things like that, which is really neat. Another thing in the remake that I think is worth noting, there's a huge feature in the remake that involves Pokemon following you, a la Pokemon Yellow. I'm not going to be going into that in this Let's Play just because it's a massive feature and none of it applies to Crystal, but it's definitely something that's really, really cool about the remake. I've seen you a couple of times. How many Pokemon have you caught? Would you like me to show you how to catch Pokemon? This right here. I love this. In Generation 2, you are allowed to refuse the capture tutorial. I'm pretty sure this is the latest game in the series where you are allowed to refuse the capture tutorial. Really, really, really nice for veterans of the series that know exactly how this works. Normally, if I was playing just for my personal self, I'd probably say no, but I'm going to say yes here because I actually really like this guy. Because he actually has a custom back sprite and a really funny name. Like, look at this guy, look at that hair. Anyway, Wild Rattata appears. And he's gonna go into his bag and just chuck a Pokeball immediately. Dude used the Pokeball. His name is literally Dude. They took this guy out in the remake, and his purpose is fulfilled by the opposite gender player character who actually has a role in the story in that game. But here, he's Dude, and I love it. That's how you do it. If you weaken them first, Pokemon are easier to catch. Very, very interesting. Now, there aren't any Pokemon that I want to catch on this route specifically, but I figured I'd just go over them. During the daytime, which, unless I say otherwise, means daytime and morning time, you can catch Pidgey, which will evolve into Pidgeotto and then into Pidgeot. At all times of day, you can catch Rattata, which will evolve into Raticate. During the day, you can catch Sentret, which will evolve into Furret. During the nighttime, you can catch Hoot Hoot, as we saw last time, which will evolve into Noctowl. And during the daytime, you can catch Hoppip, which will evolve into Skiploom and then into Jumpluff. So this is the earliest time you can get any of those Pokemon. Definitely worth keeping in mind if you plan on either A, going for full Pokedex completion, which I'm not going to, because that's a story for the history of this channel. And honestly, there's nothing I want to catch on this route, but if you want to raise something for your team, or if you want to have it for your Pokedex, definitely worth noting. Anyway, up here is Route 46, as I also mentioned last time. There are also no Pokemon I'm really interested in catching on this route, but it does have a few new encounters. During the daytime, you can catch Spearow, which will evolve into Fearow. And then, at all times of day, you can also catch Geodude, which will evolve into Graveler. Geodude will also evolve into Golem when traded, but since I already went over in the first episode that trading is kind of a difficult thing to do in this game unless you have certain connections or technical know-how, I'm really not going to be going out of my way to mention all of those that evolve through trade. Anyway, lastly, specifically in the morning, you can catch Phanpy on this route. I'm pretty sure this is only in Crystal. I don't think it's in Gold, Silver, or the remake, which is really interesting. Phanpy will eventually evolve into Donphan. Now, Phanpy is pretty interesting. If you are lucky enough to encounter one, odds are, if you don't catch it pretty quick, it is going to run from you, because for whatever reason, Gold, Silver, and Crystal are, I think, the only game where just regularly encountered Pokemon are prone to fleeing from you. Phanpy is one of the Pokemon that will flee pretty darned often. There are a few Pokemon like this in the game. I don't remember specifically which ones they are, but Phanpy in particular sticks out in my mind as one that does this. And there's a reason for that. Anyone who's watched other Let's Plays of this game probably knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, heading right back over here to Cherry Grove City, we can head into the Pokemon Center and heal up again, because honestly, any time in this game you are presented with an opportunity to heal, I definitely recommend you do it. Now, I also have another reason for going into the Pokemon Center, and that is right over here, the PC. Now that we have the ability to catch Pokemon, I think it would be good to go over Bill's PC and Professor Oak's PC. What Professor Oak's PC does, didn't have access to this before, it's the Pokedex rating system. You can get your Pokedex rated using this. Current Pokedex completion level, 7 seen, 1 owned. And Professor Oak will give a rating depending on your completion. Look for Pokemon in grassy areas. He'll always give you a hint based on your progression on the Pokedex, so yeah, since we have practically nothing, this is his little, I don't know, blurb that he'll give you. In the remake, you actually get Professor Oak's phone number, and I believe you can call him that way to get your Pokedex rated, because Professor Oak's PC doesn't actually exist, as far as I know. If it does, it probably does the same thing, but you also get Oak's phone number, so you can do that way in the remake. Anyway, Bill's PC is the Pokemon storage system. Now, this works very similarly to the way it works in Generation 1. There are, I want to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, there are 14. There are 14 boxes in this computer system. Each one holds 20 Pokemon, which allows you to hold, I want to say, 280 Pokemon in the PC right here, which is really nice. Now, due to memory limitations on the Game Boy hardware, only one of these boxes can be loaded into memory at a time. So what Change Box does is it allows you to select which box is loaded into memory. Whenever you catch a Pokemon, it will be sent to the box that is in memory. It is default box 1, and you are allowed to change it wherever you want. Also, I think you're also allowed to rename boxes, which I'm not sure you could do in Generation 1. Maybe you could, I don't recall. And there's also this print function right here. It'll say there's no Pokemon. If you hook up a Game Boy printer, once again, it will allow you to print out little images of all of the Pokemon in a given box, which is really, really cool. So yeah, if you hit switch right here, it will select that box and put it into memory, which is really important. If the box that is currently in memory is full, the game will not allow you to catch further Pokemon until you manually come to the PC and change the box. So keep that in mind. Later in the game, there will actually be a feature that allows you to check this remotely without having to go to the PC, so you can just check remotely whether or not your box is full. But until then, you want to keep count if you're going to be catching a lot of Pokemon, because it would be really disappointing to run into a rare Pokemon and just not be able to catch it. Anyway, Deposit Pokemon allows you to put Pokemon from your party into the box, and Withdraw Pokemon allows you to take Pokemon from the box and put them into your party. There's also this new feature that was not in Generation 1 called Move Pokemon Without Mail. Now, we haven't gone into Mail yet, but basically Mail is an equip to your Pokemon that actually can store short text messages, and I guess the memory limitations prevent Pokemon like that from being moved in this scenario for some reason. I'm not sure. But Move Pokemon is basically, each time you move a Pokemon, data will be saved, okay? This allows you to move Pokemon in between boxes and in between your party and the boxes, which is really cool. It appears in every single game after this. It's basically the option that makes you wonder why withdraw and deposit exist in later games, and they were finally taken out in Sun and Moon, which is really nice. But yeah, I don't need to do that right now, but this allows you to basically free drag and drop Pokemon anywhere in the PC system, but because of memory limitations, it has to save every single time, so keep that in mind. Anyway, going to leave that, and I think we are done in the Pokemon Center for right now. And I think looking over at our time, we're at about 20 minutes, so I think we are actually going to end things off here. So, this past episode of Pokemon Crystal, we met a mysterious red-haired boy who we later, quote-unquote, revealed was named Silver, and we also delivered the mystery egg to Professor Elm, which is very interesting. We also talked to our mom and got her to save our money, which we're going to be getting into next time. And we also got the directive to head off to challenge the Pokemon gyms, because that's what we need to do to become the champion. The first gym is right up here in Violet City, and hopefully next time on Pokemon Crystal, we are going to be making our way all the way up there. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.